Good morning, everybody. It is 10 a.m. on the left coast where I live. We are, 6 hours before lock? I'm going to take a first look at these DraftKings salaries for you tonight. Massive 10-game slate today. Huge tournaments on DraftKings. So we're going to take a look, our process look, right, at the three values that I like most where we're sitting right now, and some of them are going to be based on an if-then. We have some news that players are out tonight. It's a 10-game slate. A lot of news is going to break before lock. So first of all, if you're new to the YouTube channel, please click that subscribe button. Let's see how many likes we can get on this before lineups lock this evening. And secondly, my piece of advice for you on large slates, like a slate like tonight. On a 4-game slate, on a 5-game slate, it's real easy. Things kind of stay close to the vest. Yes, there's going to be some news, but not as much as when there's a double-digit slate. 10, 11, 12, 13 games means that a whole lot of news is going to break later in the day. You've got 20 teams out there tonight, all going through shoot-around, all having practices, all playing, some of them on back-to-back, some in a third game in 4 nights. Some of them dealing with injuries, and we don't know who's going to play, and we don't know who's not. We have some players that are questionable, a lot of players that are questionable. So instead of doing all your work in the morning on a day like today, take a first glance, find out where the value is, put the framework and the skeleton of your lineup together, and then do all of your if-then statements. Take every player that's questionable and realize if they play, then that means this, and if they don't, then these other players get a boost. These other players get a boost in fantasy points per minute. This player goes from 12 minutes to 22. This player goes from 17 to 30. Know all of those answers, and then put everything down. And don't come back until later. Now, as always, I recommend that you be at your workstation for NBA the last 30, 45 minutes before lock, because as that news breaks, you have to be nimble and you have to be able to pivot as the news breaks in NBA, because it's kind of the wild, wild west out here. So if you're not going to do that, if you're going to set it and forget it in NBA, you're going to be a losing player. Do not be a losing player. If you're here and you're watching this video, you're taking the steps that you need to actually be a more informed player, because I'm not about giving you picks. I'm about teaching you a process and teaching you how to fish so that you can make your own lineups and make your own decisions. So I'm going to show you my process every single day that I do these, just like we did during NFL season. And we tape these live on Twitch. So if you want to jump over to Twitch, twitch.tv/Al_Smizzle, and join the fun there so you can get involved in the chat during these broadcasts. Come on in, join the fun, and get involved. So let's take a look at what we got. Tonight's slate. I'm going to start with the three values that I like best, and there's going to be a lot of them. It kind of looks early, kind of like a Stars and Scrubsy night. We have some injuries already on the slate, which has opened up some value. The first of which has not come down yet. The news has not come down yet for the Clippers. Now, what we know, Blake Griffin ejected last game. DeAndre Jordan, he's already got the red out by his name. He's questionable. He was out last game. He's questionable for tonight's game. If he's out, and I'm going to work off the premise this morning that he is, Montrezl Harrell becomes the guy that I want to roster, playing, high 20s to low 30s minutes at 4,500. We're looking for mid-20s points out of him. This is a very active player who gets involved on the rebounds, gets involved with steals and blocks, and can score some points for us. Very high floor with Montrezl Harrell, and a ceiling somewhere in the low to mid-30s. For 4,500, that exceeds value at his price point. So for me, he becomes a core value play if DeAndre Jordan is out. Lou Williams also in play. The Clippers are in flux right now in the morning, and a team that we do have to pay attention to. Other team that had a couple of players named out this morning, Golden State. They're going to be short. Green, Draymond, is going to not play tonight. Andre Iguodala, not going to play tonight. That opens up forward minutes, wing minutes. It opens up small forward. It opens up a little bit of shooting guard. It opens up some power forward minutes. Omri Caspi should see a bump in his minutes played. This is a scoring player. This is a guy who can knock down shots, although we have not seen that from him recently. He is also somewhat tall and can get you some rebounds. I know that that's like the worst analysis ever, but in the NBA, you get a lot of rebounds just by being tall. By being around the basket, the ball will fall to you. Omri Caspi, as you can see, in 14 to 24 minutes, getting 3-4 rebounds a game. As his minutes go up, his rebounds will go up. He does have some skill with the ball. He can get assists on ball rotation, especially with shooters like Steph Curry, if he plays with them a little bit more in rotation tonight, and Kevin Durant. we really only need 18 to 22 fantasy points out of him. If he plays 20 plus minutes like I kind of expect him to this evening, I don't think it's anywhere out of the realm of possibility. I'm expecting like between 22, 24-ish minutes out of Caspi tonight. If he plays in that range, going to be a very easy value get at 3,600. I like him. Can plug him into the small forward position. And then I want somebody in the mid-range. And this is somebody that I was on yesterday. Didn't make the video because he was kind of like the fourth favorite guy that I had. Will Barton, playing a lot of minutes recently, definitely can fill it up. Was very efficient last night. Isn't that efficient a player, as you can see. On the season, averaging, 44% from the field, shot 60% last night. So obviously, he's not going to be that efficient every night. The shot's not going to drop the way it was dropping last night for him all the time. But chips in multiple categories, gives him a very nice floor. If he's going to play high 30s to low 40s minutes, especially with Nikola Jokic doing the things that he's been doing recently, it opens up somebody like Will Barton to score off of Nikola Jokic. At 5.5K, mid to low 30s is kind of what we're looking for. He has that with 40-plus point upside, averaging 30 fantasy points on the season. We want like 33, 34 out of him. I like Will Barton as my third value play on the evening. This is going to be a kind of a stars and scrubsy night. The scrubs are going to open themselves up later. There are a few guys that we're going to want to pay attention to. Andrew Hairston is one of them. Possibly Scalabissieri, but he's also questionable. Somebody who plays in the 26, 7, 28 minutes range. Very active body, very tall, gets you a bunch of rebounds, chances at steals, blocks. Also a good scorer if he can keep himself out of foul trouble. A lot of players that are on the list tonight that are going to open up if some of these players like Marc Gasol is out, like Pau Gasol is out. There's other guys that might jump up in value this evening. Sub 4K values to make this a true stars and scrubs night. But the first guy I want to go to is the highest guy on the board. Russ Westbrook has just been a monster, and I want to lock him in. Obviously gives us the best chance at a triple-double. Even when he doesn't get there, 50-plus fantasy points, averaging 57 a game on the year. Playing against the Lakers, 48 points against them the last time that they played in only 27 minutes. So people are going to look at this and say, oh, yeah, 48 points. You know, he didn't do that well against them last time. He didn't pay off his salary. Played 27 minutes. If he plays his season average in minutes against the Lakers tonight, he should get you 60 fantasy points and challenge for a triple-double. We've also seen games, because people are going to worry about blowout risk with Russ, and if he only plays those 27, we've seen games with him where he gets a massive amount of points in the first half during a blowout and has triple-doubled in under 30 minutes. Now, granted, you're not going to get that 80 fantasy point game from him in those games because he's just not going to be on the court in the fourth quarter. But if this game does stay close, and yes, this is, somewhat of a high spread, but nothing major. It's not like a 14, 15, 17-point spread. What is the spread in this game? The spread in this game is 9 with an over-under of 216.5. So, yeah, there's blowout risk, but in a 9-point game, if they win by 9, if they win by 8, if they win by 10, right? Somewhere in that range, you're not resting starters, and they're playing their full complement of minutes. The only way that the starters lose 10 minutes of game time is if they're winning by 25 points at the end of the third quarter, right? If they're up 30 at halftime, then he'll play a rotation in the third and won't play the rest of the game. If the game is around 10, which is kind of where they expect it to be, if it's around 9, he's going to play his full rotation and probably check out with 2 or 3 minutes left in the game and be done, right? So you're going to get your full amount of minutes. And if you get your full amount of minutes, your full complement of minutes out of Russ Westbrook, he's going to pay off that salary a good bit of the time. So he's one of the studs that I want to lock in tonight. I know that I had Kevin Durant as the poster boy today, but that's just because I have a whole lot of posters, a lot of covers, and I got tired of using Boogie Cousins, and I got tired of using Russ every single night. Durant is a good shout tonight. I do like him. The price is a little bit high. I think that we can come down. If it's a true stars and scrubs night, if we get some more 3K values, I don't mind locking him in along with Russ. You can ride with the old tandem and go with them again if that value presents itself. But where I want to go, and again, I like to leave my flex spots and my utility for later. Where I want to go with this, a lot of people are going to come back to Jokic after the big game that he had last night. On a back-to-back, I may go there, I may not, but the player that looks like the best value on the board to me at the high end is going to be Dwight Howard. Absolutely crushing. absolute lock for a double-double, threatens a Barbara Walters game. For those of you who are too young to understand what a Barbara Walters game is, she used to host 2020. So if he has 20 points and 20 rebounds, that's a 2020 game. That's a Barbara Walters game. And Dwight Howard does challenge for those. Yes, Washington is a good team. It's a team that he's going to have to play his full complement of minutes. He's been residing in the mid-30s. I'm not sure that they can lock him down and stop him from doing the things that he has to do. And massive blocks and steals upside that can win you a GPP at only 7,600. So that's going to finish off my 5, leaving us with 5,700 per player to go for our 3 flex spots, giving us the maximum amount of flexibility on a night like tonight, where a whole lot of value is going to open up on a 10-game slate before lock. So I want to thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you watching the video. If you can, click that like button before you get out of here. That would be great. If you can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on the NBA First Look. Bye, everybody.